those were just absolutely wonderful. And congratulations on your first short film.
Thank you.
So my first question is directed to you both, which is, I noticed how emotionally impactful there was this kind of constant tone that was so strong for a film that just was 10-15 minutes. So I'm curious, was there a particular moment or scene from the beginning that captured that feeling? And then how did you choose what moments to include and let go of as you were making the film? Whoever wants to start.
Ladies first.
That's not gonna fly every time. Maybe to start, there's like a lot of questions, so I'm just like, let me see. I think for me, it's just like during like COVID, like I think the silver lining is a lot of people were just like thinking about their lives and like things that I turned 30, 2020, and I was just thinking about like, oh, there's so many people I hung out with that I have no idea what they're doing, or like the in and out of people's lives. So I just kind of wanted to like kind of capture that, and how like social media is like obviously a way to keep in touch with people. And then also like I've been in Austin since 2009. And like I went to UT, and like, you know, I've seen the city change, and I kind of use like the gentrification of the city as like a passage of time for these two characters. What were your other questions?
Okay. Just was there a moment you knew from the beginning that was included in the film you kind of built the film around?
Yeah, I think it was, well, like the ending, right? Like basically like that ending, right, is like an open-ended, like ambiguous ending. Like you don't really know like how that ends, but I just kind of like that scene took like a lot of like preparation, and I think I also just wanted to create something where, you know, where people were young, and then like, you know, when you like people don't communicate like even now, and I think when, you know, something like that happens, you're just kind of like, you don't exist. And so like that's kind of like what this character was too. And so I think trying to get this moment kind of encapsulating, you have their history, you have their chemistry, you have like their, you know, culture, specificities too. So probably like the ending, I think.
That's great, thank you so much. And then Sarthik, I had a specific question for you, which you included a lot of technological aspects in your film. I was curious, why did you decide to include, you know, the phone call to the bank, and then the dreaded anxiety-inducing Teams call, kind of as the center point of the film?
Yeah, I mean, part of the whole film, the motivation or the inspiration is behind my own frustration with my life, not able to make certain bold choices at different aspects or different stages of my life. So I was having this resentment and frustration. It was there all along, but what I didn't have is this narrative structure or narrative spine that could hold the whole film together. So I was reading literature, and particularly this book called Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka, and it was surreal, and I read it, and I knew the beginning, middle, and the end of the film. So I was going to set up familial relationship of this character in the beginning, and I have to put like, you know, the oppressive institutions signify here, it's symbolizing with the bank and all, and then I wanted to set up a personal conflict, which is the familial relationship, and then something to do with interpersonal conflict, which is something to do with her manager and her work. So I was setting all these things, and like there are a lot of references that I draw inspiration from, and I was writing different drafts, and I thought this was more impactful. And in the end, it was like life's muted. Like we always wanted to shout, but it's all muted. So that's the point.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. And then both of these films had fairly minimal casts, and I was just curious, both as, you know, your first short films, what was your experience like with casting?
I can go first now.
Okay.
Yeah, it's big. It's not even big. It's just one character in my film, and it's really challenging. And when I was writing I was narrating to different friends, and what I got, the response that I received is nobody's actually caring about the number of characters, as long as the story is engaging, as long as we have a specific, you know, story to tell. I don't care. I mean, they're not really concerned about the number of characters, and in my head I was really nervous because it's only one character, and I mean even in terms of cinematic grammar, I wanted to go with basics like short reverse shot, long medium close, and just one character. How can we achieve an effective story using basic cinematic grammar? I think I hope I answered the question.
So for me, I love films like, Before Trilogy and like, Past Lives has become one of my favorite films. So I really love like a relationship between two people that kind of like takes place in like real time and just like there's connections and all these things. So I knew that's the story I wanted to write from the start. So there was always going to be two people. I love Austin, like it's been my home, but it's not the most diverse place in the world. So when it came to casting, that was really hard. And so we opened up our casting nationwide. And these two actors came from New York. And I really think it was kind of like meant to be with both of them because Harsh, who plays Imran, was in a South Asian writers workshop. So he had seen the script like take numerous like twists and turns, and he had expressed interest, and he ultimately like got the role. And for Sheila, her name is Anu Mysore, one of my producers who was here, Olivia, happened to see her in Mira Nair's Monsoon Wedding, the musical in New York, and she was the understudy. So it was like very like fortuitous that we saw her there, and that it also like worked out with them, and we did chemistry reads, and we're like, these are our two characters. And then my mom plays Sheila's mom not in the film, and sometimes when I'm on the phone with her, and if it's like a FaceTime, like I have chubby fingers, so I accidentally like end the call, she literally says like, did you hang up on me? And she starts laughing because she thinks that's funny. So that's kind of the story with that.
Awesome, thank you. And then as both South Asian and Texas filmmakers, what kinds of stories, I know you talked about this a bit earlier, but what kinds of stories are important for you to tell?
Okay. I think for me is like I said, like these kind of slice of life stories where it's just like there are things that are universal no matter where your background is, no matter the color of your skin or like how you choose to identify, right? Like I'm sure, or I hope that everyone in this audience can identify with my characters even if you're not South Asian. It's a part of us, it's not like all who we are. And then I also wanted to display different standards of beauty, right? So like every time we see minorities on screen, they tend to look like supermodels, right? Like every like South Asian actress is like looks like a Bollywood actress, and I'm like, well, I don't look like that. So I wanted someone who, I wanted to make sure that people knew that you can be like a bigger size and also be desirable. Like you don't have to thank you. You don't have to, be like a caricature. Like your weight shouldn't be like the main like focus of like why you're on screen, right? So that's also like one of the things I wanted to do because usually again, like if you see a character, like it's only like a white character who can be fat. You can't be a person of color and fat at the same time. Like it's either or. So I just kind of really wanted to normalize things because like this shouldn't be groundbreaking, but it kind of feels that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't have a specific agenda of like trying to tell this kind of stories, but philosophical themes are one area that I really wanted to touch and give the references. Having said that, it's definitely important to tell our stories, the South Asian stories, because if we don't tell it, nobody ever will. So it's very important that because only by telling our stories we can share the commonality between they could be a 17-year-old or 21-year-old who could be having no voice to tell, so they could watch the film and empathize with this character and actually understand the nuances of it.
Beautiful, thank you so much. And last question, could you just talk about the premiere status of your film, which I believe today is your premiere, which is awesome. And also what is on the horizon for you?
So yeah, this is our world premiere, and then next week our film plays at Cinema Columbus in Ohio, and then we'll have our West Coast premiere at LA Asian Pacific Film Festival in a little over 2 weeks on May 3rd. And we've gone to another festival but hasn't been announced yet, so we're still waiting to hear back from a couple of other festivals. But yeah, we're just hoping to bring it to as many audiences as possible. As to what's next, so this is just like the start of our festival run, and we hope that we can have like a long one until the end of the year. And I have an idea for another short film. It's like in very like early development. Like there's no script. There's just like feelings. Like that's kind of it. So yeah.
My film, I mean, I thought Indie Meme was the first festival that my film got selected into, but then this Indian World Film Festival that it got selected, and Sirisha, the lead actor, the only actor in my film, got the best actress. Congratulations! And yeah, it got nominated in another alternative film festival. So this is North American premiere.
Thank you so much for being here. Oh yes.
Can you ask Srisha to stand up?
Yes. Can we have one audience question, please? And Srisha, stand up. Are you there?
Yes, she is.
Yo, let's go!
Thank you so much for coming. Any questions? It's hard to see, so you're gonna have to raise your hand really high.
Or your voice.
Or your voice. Yes, go ahead. Right there.
Right. My question is to Satvik. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
And so I've noticed something very interesting in your film. It is the scene where there's a glass of water which caught my attention. There's a pill and water is bubbling up. So does it mean anything? Just curious.
Yeah, that's an interesting scene. It's a report from Taxi Driver, to be honest. So basically, what happens is, again, long story short, the idea is something that's being pointed by Paul Schrader, who says, when you read a book, you can always pause, take a moment, imagine, and then go back. With film, you can't have that opportunity because it's in autopilot mode. So it's very important that film. But there's a chance there. You can always have a scene which may not signify anything in the context, but it can have, like this particular shot, it can show the inner turmoil of this character, and that's exactly woven between the familiar conflict and the following scene. So I thought it's really interesting scene in terms of you can actually use this show don't tell strategy. You can actually feel it. I don't necessarily need to do or give the exposition through that.
Thank you both so much. And stick around for Sit on the Stream next.
And I just wanted to take a moment, and I really would like to thank my actor, my DP Prithvi. He was a filmmaker, and he's really supported me in bringing out all the crew. And can I please call them? Yeah. Can I have a crew here, casting crew, please?
And Neha, you too. If you have anybody from the cast and crew.
And there might be others, but we did have a cast and crew screening a few weeks ago, so.
But if anybody's in the audience,
Yeah.
please call them.
Sure. This is a really special film for me because this is something that my wife and I funded this film, and it was shot on my 5-year marriage anniversary. Only then I realized that we shouldn't shoot anything on those days.
Thanks for putting me in the spot. First, I would like to thank Indie Meme. This is the second time that I'm coming to Indie Meme. Last year, I think around the same time, I was on the stage presenting my short film, which I directed, and that was my first world premiere and first festival experience. And till date, I've been telling everybody, all of my filmmakers who are still working in their respective projects, I always encourage them to submit to Indie Meme, because more than anything, I mean, experiencing really amazing movies here. The reception is amazing, so we were really excited to come back. So I would like to thank Indie Meme and Southwick.
Thank you, Indie Meme, and thank you, Sardik, for picking me. I just want to say there is a parallel to this movie in my life. So last year, about 2 weeks before I quit my job, I did this film. And so that FU call was literally to my manager. So I got it all out before I could say it professionally to him. So thank you for that, Sardik. Thank you for this opportunity. We're glad that you guys enjoyed it.
Thank you, Sadrik, for this opportunity. And I always believed in The Road Not Taken right from the moment I had read the script. And I'm so glad that it's actually making so much of noise. And I wish it makes much more noise.
Yeah.
Hi, thanks Indie Meme, and thanks everyone for coming out and watching these shorts.